Any more comics come out? More Daddy or anything else?
Another Daddy graphic novel is inevitable, and it's something that I would really like to do, but I really have to honor some of the responsibilities that I presently have. You know, get some of these projects that need finishing finished before I can take on a Daddy book, because Daddy books take me like 6 months to make, and it really doesn't pay. So, it's a very challenging thing to do scheduling-wise and financially, but I love it so much that I continue to do it. But, you know, inevitably there's going to be another Daddy book. I would love to see Lady Death and Daddy get together. I've talked to Brian Polito about making that happen, and that looks like a good possibility. I still want to see Daddy meets Vampirella, although I've been working on that for 6 years and I still haven't made it happen with those folks. And I'd love to see Johnny the Homicidal Maniac take on Daddy. I don't know if Jonan would be up to that, but,
you know, those characters would be great.
You know, there's so many things I still want to see happen with Daddy, so it's inevitable. It's just a question of when.
Right. Okay. Are you aware that Amazon.com makes no differentiation between you and the other Voltaire as authors?
There's another Voltaire.
Yes.
I know, I'm kidding. Okay, well, your very first question to me was about my name. Another one of the key motivating factors in revealing my whole name is that I never intended to write books.
Right.
So when I was Voltaire the animator in the 80s, that was cute. And when I became Voltaire the comic book creator in like the mid-90s, that was cute. And when I became Voltaire the musician, that was okay too. But the second I wrote a book and it said by Voltaire, I felt weird.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of other people felt weird too. And it's an uncomfortable, unsettling feeling, you know, that now I have these books out that have the name of another author on them. So I thought it was very important to make the differentiation. I should also point out that as we speak, there's some jackass making records as Voltaire. If you go to iTunes, you will see that like my 5 records are there and 2 others by someone else called Voltaire, who makes no differentiation between himself and myself. And he is causing confusion in the marketplace. When I look at, that thing in iTunes that says, you know, people who bought this record also bought.
Yeah.
He makes experimental hip hop. Okay, I mean instrumental hip hop, and it'll say people who bought Villains and Mice, which is the name of one of his records, also bought, and it'll say Boo-Hoo, Almost Human, Ookie Spooky, The Devil's Briss, and Rasputina, you know, so obviously people are buying this guy's records thinking he's me, and that's a bad thing. So I'm guessing there's probably going to be a big, angry, hairy New York City lawyer giving him a call at some point.
So have you gotten any...
I just wish I could afford it.
Have you gotten any questions about your experimental hip-hop?
I have. People have sent me emails saying, your new record sucks. And I thought, oh my God, how could they hate Ookie Spooky? But then the next line is, why did you choose to make a record using keyboards and not singing at all? And I was like, okay, I think I know what's going on here. So, you know, I'm sure what he does is perfectly good for what he does, but it's very confusing to people who, I mean, you just can't take a brand name like that and decide to make it your own. Which is ironic, of course, you know, because, you know, there was a dead French guy named Voltaire. But he didn't make funny goth music, damn it. I don't think I'm confusing anybody there.
Yeah, right. Okay. Last one here. Your MySpace page seems to be much more up-to-date than your website. Are you planning on dropping the website eventually in favor of MySpace, or?
You need to have a website. Because you can control a website where you can't control MySpace. You know, tomorrow they could just decide that MySpace is going to go away, and then it'll go away. Like MP3.com went away. Well, it came back as a different animal.
Yeah.
But MP3.com was, you know, I relied on that heavily to get my songs to people. And incidentally, you know, they sent me checks. You know, back in the day, you actually got paid for your songs. Now it's a different thing, and that could happen with MySpace. So it's important to have a website. To answer your question, the simple answer is, why is the MySpace page updated every single day, and my website is updated like once or twice a year? And the answer is because I don't know HTML, so someone else has to do it. But I can update my MySpace page, and I fucking love doing it. Like, I love reading all my messages, and I love, you know, talking to people and adding people, and you know, I mean, don't get me wrong, I get my fair share of extremely annoying messages on there as well. My favorites are you know, when I send out a bulletin and I say, hi, I'm playing in Portland, Oregon tonight, and instead of getting, you know, like 100 replies saying, see you there tonight,
Yeah.
I get 2,000 replies saying, you should play in here, you should play in New Jersey, you should play in Toronto, you should play. So, yeah, so, you know, that's a little annoying. The other one that's really bad is when people email me and say, or I'll send out a bulletin, I'll say, I'm playing at Screamfest in Orlando at the Wyndham Resort. I go on at midnight. It costs $12. And people will email me and say, how much does it cost? Where is it that you're playing? When is that? It's like, just read the fucking message. It's 2 sentences long, for fuck's sake. But by far the worst are the people who message me and ask me to message their friends. You know, it's like, just let your fucking friend hit the send message button. Like, what am I, a dancing monkey or something? Anyway. But I love MySpace, and it's a fantastic way to communicate with people.
Well, since you say everybody needs a website, how come the Odds don't have a website? Or do they? I haven't found it.
The Odds do not have a website because the Odds barely exist. You know, it's a you know, a side project, and it's something that I feel really strongly about the songs. And if I had a month of free time, I would finish the Odds record right now. Right. But you know, again, unfortunately, it's fallen victim to everything. You know, for the same like everything else in my life, it's fallen victim to my schedule, and so I can only do it when I have time to do it. So that record's going to get done, and I feel really good about the songs, but I just can't say when it's going to happen.
Right. Okay. And to end things here, I know you had said you'll go back to Cuba when Fidel Castro dies. You know, he had his whole health crisis there, and he seems to be recovering now. How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I really like the nutty idea of, you know, returning to Cuba when communism falls and like buying a cathedral for $25 and painting it black and living there. But it's probably never going to happen. I think I should probably just stick with my original dream of someday having enough money to buy the steeple of the Chrysler Building and raising large bats and living in there. Up to my knees in guano. What a dream. It's the American dream. Actually, it's probably the Transylvanian dream, but whatever. Semantics.
All right. Well,
we leave it at that?
I guess that'll do it. That's all we got. Well, I thank you for the interview.
My pleasure.
As I lay here 6 feet down, my body buried underground, in this dank and dreary cold, I'm just glad I'm not